What does it mean to be really free? This Independence Day, we are looking at freedom from a different perspective. Freedom that doesn't come from sudden wealth, but comes from long term planning, clarity, and confidence. Freedom that allows you to choose things in your life without second guessing them. Freedom that allows you to support your family, pursue your goals, and sleep better at night, knowing that you are protected. To unpack this for us, today we are joined with someone who not only knows about India's financial evolution from the inside, but is actively helping shape it. Mr. Pankaj Gupta is the Managing Director and CEO of Pramerica Life Insurance, a company with deep roots in both global expertise and Indian values. Mr. Gupta joins us not just as the CEO, but as a leader, a thinker, someone who is actively in tune with what Indians mean when they say, I want to be financially free. Mr. Gupta, thank you so much for joining us.
Smriti, it's a pleasure to be here today with you.
So, to start with, let's talk about financial freedom. I mean, financial freedom means different things for different people. You could want to be debt free. For some people, it's about owning a property. What is financial freedom to you?
Smriti, I would say the definition of financial freedom is a function of the phase of life that we are in, as well as our background, our values, our family, and so on and so forth. For somebody who is a youngster who is just starting out, getting the freedom to buy anything that they have craved for some time is also part of their financial freedom. A lot of us keep our wishes, desires in abeyance while we are building up our career and finances. So
Right.
once you reach that point where when you reach out to an item that you wanted to buy and you don't have to think about what is the impact of this on my credit card bill next month, that is financial freedom for some. For some others, let us say we take the example of somebody who has lived their career for a couple of decades, and then they are looking back and trying to do different things. That freedom to do what they want to do at that point of time in their life is financial freedom in that moment. So, the meaning of financial freedom for somebody who has a family, who is taking care of their children, would be what they can do for their children without worrying about whether it is going to impact their budget or not, not keeping anything that they want for their children in the background just because of money matters. So the meaning of financial freedom is different at different points of anybody's life. I would say fundamentally, it is about being able to do what you deeply wish to do without having to worry about money. That is how I would define financial freedom at any stage of life.
Okay, and if I'm were to talk about, young Indians, what are the biggest shifts that you see in the financial aspirations of young Indians?
Smriti, the attitude of young Indians toward finances has gone through a drastic change in in front of my own eyes in the last 3 decades or so. If I were to look at the 90s, a lot of us at that time, India was not a rich country. Our parents were also not somebody who had a lot of financial cushion with them in general. At that time, the attitude towards money was that of getting the money, accumulating the money so that you did not have to worry about the money.
Right.
Today, a lot of the people, a lot of the youngsters have already crossed that phase. They don't have to worry about money for its own sake. At the current juncture, that is the reason one of the shift that I have seen is that the desire to accumulate money versus spend money.
Hmm.
That shift is taking place. Youngsters today are more willing to spend money than to accumulate money, even at the beginning of their career. So, for example, the age at which you buy your first car, the age at which that you look forward to going on a very fancy vacation,
Hmm.
a lot of those things have changed for the better, I would say. So, not keeping your wishes in abeyance for a long period of time is one of the biggest things I have seen in the youngsters' view. The other thing, which is I would say a related thing, is that the fear of not having money,
Hmm.
that fear is also less. In the 90s, for example, the opportunities that a youngster had were far fewer. When you have few opportunities and you are not sure how your tomorrow would look like, whether you would get that type of a income enhancement that is something that you're desiring,
Hmm.
the tendency to save was much more. Today, when the economy is growing, and the opportunities are growing for the youngsters. A lot of them have the comfort that I would go out and spend, live my life while I am going to do my best to keep enhancing my ability to earn more money for the future. So that's the biggest shift I would say I've seen. The fear of not having money is much lesser. The desire to spend is much more so that they get experiences and ability to realize their dreams much earlier in their lives now.
Okay, so how do you see Indians approaching money and independence on financial front differently from their parents? I mean, in terms of success, stability, risk, what are the most divergent trends emerging there?
So one of the biggest things would be that the attitude toward risk has changed. So 30 years ago, if you were to look at the type of colleges we have, the premier colleges we have in our country, the number of graduates who came out who wanted to just go out and join a big company and work there for their entire life was much more. Today, if you look at the same youngsters, the ability and the openness to start something on their own, which of course is going to be risky in many cases, is much more there. So the fundamental attitude towards risk has also changed. So while there is the angle of trying to consume before waiting for it for too long, which is about living your life. The other
Right.
attitude about not being fearful and ability to accept risk as part of building your life has also become much more. I think it all bodes very well for the country. A country is built by entrepreneurs,
Hmm.
and entrepreneurs with the openness to go out and do different things while having some mental comfort that there is a cushion somewhere available because of the family situation or because of the way the economy is growing, because of the way the opportunities are emerging. That bodes very well for India as a country. I would say India is has always been the land of entrepreneurs. Now, even those youngsters who earlier, because of the middle class background, would have preferred a more stable job, living a comfortable life in a stable manner, their openness to try out new stuff, I would say, is going to give a lot of fillip to the future of entrepreneurship in our country in a much more, I would say, robust manner.
Okay, and when it comes to any worries or anxieties, what are the things, the topmost things that shape the decision making when it comes to financial freedom? Are there any new trends that are emerging there?
There are a couple of things which are new when we look at the finances. One is that we want to do the best for our children. That has always been the case in the past, but the opportunities that are available for us today to provide in a different manner for our children is very different compared to the type of opportunities that existed a couple of decades ago. So that is one of the bigger shifts that I have seen. The other thing I have seen is that the desire to get the best possible medical and health outcomes for yourself has also gone up. If
Hmm.
you were to go back a couple of decades and see the medical or the health cost inflation in the country, that has gone up significantly because of multiple factors. One, our desire to get the best possible treatment, and second is the natural inflation itself. Because of that, people are much more willing to spend on health, education, experiences than they were in the past.
Okay, and where do you see life insurance binding into the journey of financial freedom? I mean, is it a deeper long-term role that you see it playing apart from just being a safety net?
So, Smriti, if you were to look at insurance, what insurance is a risk mitigation tool in anybody's life. Now,
Right.
all of us know that life is uncertain. When we are going and driving our car on the road, we all hope for the best, but we know that there is a possibility I might have a vendor fender or something like that the day
Mhm.
I take my car out without knowing that it will happen to me. Same is the case with life also. We all are very in general hopeful about the future. We all hope to live a long life, but it is not in our hands always. Because of that reason, I would say the role of insurance is to mitigate that risk so that again you are free from financial worries. Now imagine somebody who has to take care of his family for the next couple of decades, provide for them, provide for their education and livelihood, living, and something were to happen to the breadwinner of the family. In that
Mhm.
situation, life insurance steps in and gives that support which is otherwise not available. Now, what is the other alternative for a person in that situation? The other alternative for that person is to save so much that even if something were to happen to them, the family is taken care of. Now, that is
Right.
not always possible. So the insurance, because it works with the law of large numbers, with
Hmm.
the factors of probability, with a small premium, you are able to mitigate a big risk, because that risk event is going to fall on only one person, probably in 1000. But
Hmm.
that one person in 1000 has to pay a very small premium to mitigate it and live their life free of that worry about what may happen to me. So that is a fundamental role of life insurance, removing that fear in anybody's mind so that they can live their life more freely the way they want to live.
Okay, coming to Pramerica Life, I mean, you work with defense families, young professionals, and rural households. So, what have you learned about tailoring the financial solutions or building trust in these communities?
Smriti, my main observation has been that financial needs of each person in each segment are different.
Hmm.
There are some people who, for example, are looking at maximizing their returns. There are some people who are looking at preserving whatever capital they have already got with them. There are some people who are looking to make sure that in the worst case scenario, their family is taken care of. So that under fundamental understanding that money means different things to different people in
Hmm.
different segments, the fundamental requirements and the attitude towards money is different. How we as a company can target certain segments where we feel we have the ability to provide the right solutions and take care of the financial needs of that segment so that they are free of some of those worries. So that has been my main observation. What Pramerica Life has done is we have created very targeted solutions as well as approach for a number of segments that have traditionally been underserviced in our country. In our country, life insurance, private life insurance in particular, evolved in the last 25 years or so. And the initial rollout, like with any other industry, is toward the bigger metro markets and the urban markets. In this process, the customers who are not middle class or upper middle class, who have relatively lower income, or who may be not as accessible as the customers in the metros are accessible, some of those segments have more opportunity for a company like ours to go out and service. And that is what we have been doing. So fundamentally realizing what each customer or each segment of customers needs are, and to focus on relatively underserviced customers who may not have got the solution that they need from other companies. That has been our attempt so that we are able to build our business while also serving those segments which are currently not served as well.
Okay, and what are the biggest challenges and breakthroughs when you're talking about, catering to the underserved people or the first-time insurers? There is the middle class, there are remote regions. So, could you tell us a little more about that?
That is an excellent question because the fundamental opportunity in our country that I see in financial matters is that of financial literacy.
Hmm.
In general, there is a need to teach more and more people about money in all its aspects, not just insurance. When I say money and finance, I mean in all its aspects. For example, how to save, how to invest, how to build your credit score, how
Hmm.
to mitigate the risk that comes as part of the life. All of these, I would say, a lot of the people, I would say, in our country do not understand the best way of using whatever money they have already earned and whatever money they have already got. So financial literacy is one of the most fundamental thing that I see as an opportunity. Related to that, in our country, if you were to look at the frontline sales forces in banks as well as insurance companies and other related industries, the attrition level of those people is pretty high. So
Hmm.
what is happening is, on the one side, you have a customer who is not very financially literate. On the other side, you have a salesperson who is also changing his jobs at a fast clip.
Hmm.
So the two people, when they're talking to each other, how best do they give the right solution in spite of the challenges that I'm talking about, the challenge of financial literacy and the challenge of fast attrition. So the opportunity in my experience has been that when a company like ours goes to the market, build certain rules, build certain guardrails around the product, around the solutions, around the selling process, around our background verifications, etc., so that we are still, in spite of these challenges, we are still able to provide the right quality solution to the right customer. That I would say is the fundamental opportunity that I see. But as a country, we do need to work on financial literacy so that people are truly aware of what money means and how they can be free of those financial worries that we all have from time to time.
Right. So, but coming to you as a leader and an expert, how has your personal journey and beliefs around financial freedom evolved over the last few years?
The type of journey that I'm talking about, I would say, mirrors the type of times that we live in. So I
Hmm.
grew up in the 90s and 80s, and that time India was at a very different uh, was a very different country. Our
Hmm.
country had the good fortune of coming out with its liberalization policies in 1991, opening the country, and opportunities for the entire nation grew rapidly after that.
Right.
My own attitude towards money, I would say, reflects that. And it changes in multiple ways. For example, what you think is your aspiration. That aspiration is a function of the country, the economy, the society in which we live. So, one of the things I would say that my aspirations, what they were in the 80s and 90s, compared to that, my aspirations today probably have gone up. My family's aspirations have gone up. Related to that is our ability as a country, as a society to realize those aspirations has also gone up because the economy has done well in the last 3 decades or so in general. And our country has been moving forward in general in the right direction. So ability to realize those aspirations, ability to a dream more, I would say both have gone up for me in line with the rest of the country. Related to that is again the desire to also look at some of the people who I come across in my day-to-day life who are not as fortunate, the ability to help some of them in a limited way, whatever limited way we have, the ability to help them has gone up. So if I see somebody who is unfortunate, who needs some type of help, I am in a position today to help them out in taking care of whatever difficulty they may be at a certain point of time to a limited extent. While of course we can't do all that we wish to do, but whatever we can do to some extent, our ability to do that has gone up. So these are the things I would say at a certain point of time. When you have realized those aspirations, you feel you have enough, the desire to go towards helping the bigger cause, helping other people, and in the process, probably at some point of time, to think of creating a legacy for yourself. I would say those things start coming to the mind. What all we can do with the money that we have, with the good fortune that we have had, so that others get the help. And of course, at the same point of time, is there an opportunity to build a legacy based upon whatever we may be able to do for the society?
Right. Coming back to young Indians, I mean, at the start of their financial journey, there are a lot of options, there are a lot of distractions out there. So, what is that one piece of advice that you would like to give to them?
My advice to everybody would be that it is important to know about money first. You should know money.
Hmm.
What does money mean to you will be after that once you have understood it. For example, the importance of earning well, the importance of saving well, importance of investing well, importance of protecting whatever you have saved for yourself, importance of building a good credit score, importance of being disciplined about money, importance of balancing your desires and wishes with the long-term planning. I would
Right.
say all of these things have to be understood in the full context. If I have to give a couple of thumb rules here, uh, in general, I would say that one should get into the habit of saving and investing at an early age. We all know that the money that we save compounds after we have saved it. In general, the rate of compounding is more than the rate of inflation. So, what
Hmm.
it does is whatever we have saved today, the power of that money to buy more things is more after 1 year, 2 year, 10 year than it is today. So, whenever we are able to keep some money for saving, some portion of money for saving, whatever we could have bought with that money today, if we are able to defer the gratification, we are going to be able to buy much more than we are able to buy today. So that again, going to the point about starting to save so that your money has the time to compound. If you are able to do that at an early stage, you will not have financial worries in your middle ages.
Right.
I would say there is a related point also. While I did talk about the opportunity in our country and the way the economy has gone up, it is also a fact that the uncertainty has gone up also in the economy and the wider world. When uncertainty goes up and you have a financial cushion, you are able to sleep much more peacefully. So,
True.
money, the other role, as I said, the freedom from financial worries also include the ability to sleep well at night, irrespective of whatever may be happening around us. We all know that the world is changing dramatically. The type of world we lived in even 5 or 10 years ago is not the same world today because of geopolitical reasons, as well as because of advent of technologies like AI and big data and robotics, etc. All of these will have an impact on the way the careers shape up. Now, imagine a scenario in which a youngster has lived a good professional life, but because of the change in technology, they have to reinvent their career. Now, that reinvention might take some time. If you have a financial cushion because of the savings that you have done in the early part of your career, the type of compounding that your money has had the time to do, again, your ability to navigate those changes is much more. So, that would be my suggestion to the youngsters that know the money, get yourself financially literate, start saving at an early part of your career. At the early part of your career in general, your costs are lower, cost of living are lower, your responsibilities are lesser, so you have the ability to do a lot of stuff that you may not have in your middle ages, because a lot of expenses in the middle ages become sort of mandatory and you may not have a choice of delaying those expenses. So that is the reason starting early is one word of advice I would give to the youngsters.
Okay. And Mr. Gupta, looking ahead, what change in mindset, policy, or education for that matter, do you believe will make the biggest difference?
Going forward, I would say I'm an optimistic person. I would say if we keep growing as a country, keep growing as an economy, we will become a more affluent society in the future. As we become a more affluent society in the future, the type of financial cushion that today we have to create at our own end as individuals, I would imagine that we will have more social support also, more social support from the government also. So today, for example, we do not have a social security system
Right.
worth talking about. In the future, my belief is as we become a more affluent country, more affluent society, we will have some type of a social net as well in our country. And all of that, if you were to put together, we becoming more affluent, country having more opportunity, we having some type of a financial cushion from the society or the government, not just at an individual level, would lead to a much better freedom from financial worries. So my dream in that context would be some of the Scandinavian countries where, while the tax rates are high, the government and the society take care of a lot of your basic needs, including health, education, and to some extent the type of living also you do, the type of public transport and other facilities you have. So as we keep going forward, I would imagine that our ability to be free from financial worries will keep improving,
Right.
and
Uh,
not just as individuals but as a society as well.
Finally, if you had to sum up financial freedom in a single sentence, what would you have to say? And what is that one big takeaway for our viewers from this interview?
My one way of looking at financial freedom is to have the ability to do whatever you want at a certain point of time without thinking if you have money to support that or not. So, for example, if you want to take a flight because you want to meet some old friend of yours, you can do that as well. So, freedom means you don't have to worry about money when deciding certain things. And for that, again, going back to the basics, if you have been disciplined about your money, if you have financial literacy, if you have saved and let your money compound, if you have protected your money and if you have protected your family by taking the right type of insurance at the right point of time, your ability to do that will be far, far more.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gupta. Thank you for your valuable insights and for your practical advice from the boardroom right to all the families in India. I mean, it's very clear that if with one were to opt for the right habits and take the right guidance, financial freedom is within our reach. And to our viewers, this Independence Day, I hope that you can take that one step in the direction towards your financial freedom so that your choices and not your worries can define your future. On behalf of the Times of India, here's to a freer and brighter tomorrow for every Indian family.
Thank you, Smriti.
Thank you, sir.